Chosen one, listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you because right now there are 7 habits. Yes, 7 specific ways of thinking, acting, and responding that are blocking your elevation, holding you back when heaven keeps calling you up. As you hear these words, I need you to feel the weight, the urgency. There's no time to play church, no room for spiritual denial, no luxury of pretending you're unaffected. There are habits in your life, habits you might not even call sin, habits that slip in under the radar, habits that pretend to be helpful, that are strangling your promise and choking your breakthrough right at the gate. Let me tell you exactly what's happening right now. First, there's the habit of protective isolation. You know what I mean. That deep urge to shut your phone off for days on end, to avoid every call, to keep the curtains drawn, to only answer texts with one-word replies. Because you've been betrayed so many times, you've convinced yourself it's safer to be an island, safer to stay hidden than to risk being seen. You even tell yourself it's God who has you isolated. But listen close, there's a difference between God's holy hiddenness and your fear-fueled withdrawal. Isolation that doesn't come from God robs you of every connection He wants to use to bless you. People can't recommend you, can't pray for you, can't open doors for you if you're ghosting every conversation. You're not just shutting out pain, you're locking out provision. Right now, there are destiny helpers, intercessors, gatekeepers who cannot reach you because you've disappeared behind your pain. You tell yourself you're protecting your peace, but truth is, you're building a wall so thick even your own healing can't find its way back in. You think the silent treatment keeps you safe, but it's making you invisible in the very season you were meant to be seen. Second, let me show you the habit of rationalized compromise. This is the daily, quiet lowering of your standards. What starts as a little shortcut here, a small white lie, a lazy day, a slip in your boundaries, turns into a lifestyle of spiritual erosion. You tell yourself just this once, but before you know it, just once becomes every time. You download that app, go back to that DM, take that money under the table, fudge those numbers. You still pray, you still show up at church. But your integrity has leaks. Let me break this down for you. What you compromise to keep, you will eventually lose. Compromise turns confidence into confusion, callings into chaos, peace into paranoia. You start second-guessing yourself, walking on eggshells, hoping your secrets don't surface. God's favor isn't resting on half-obedience. Heaven is withholding things not out of cruelty, but because compromised hands can't carry holy things. Elevation demands sacrifice. Compromise demands secrecy. And when secrecy multiplies, the Spirit's voice gets hard to hear. Third, you need to see the habit of obsessive comparison. Right now, as you scroll that feed, as you watch their stories, you measure your calling by someone else's timeline. Let me tell you what's happening. You are poisoning your own soil every time you wish for their harvest. You don't see their struggles like you see your own. You don't feel their pain, only their presentation. But you let their applause become your anxiety. You take inventory of what you lack instead of what you have. Every day you rob your own joy, belittle your own process, disrespect your own journey because you're hypnotized by the manufactured highlight reel of others. It's not just jealousy, it's self-sabotage. You forfeit gratitude. You lose sight of your unique assignment. Suddenly your prayers change from God, use me, to God, give me what they have. But God anoints the true, not the copy. As long as you chase someone else's elevation, you'll never possess your own. Right now, the habit of comparison is bleaching the color out of your promise, making you a shadow when you were meant to be a voice. Fourth, let me take you into the habit of delayed obedience. You know exactly what God told you to do. Apologize, apply, audition, sow the seed, make the call, sign up, show up, and you keep saying soon. You call it patience, but it's really procrastination dressed in spiritual language. Let me explain why this is devastating for you. Destiny is always time-sensitive. The window opens and the window closes. There are moments where obedience must be immediate, or the blessing moves on. Delayed obedience is disobedience in slow motion. Some of the frustration you feel is the byproduct of yesterday's hesitation. Doors that would have flung wide are now locked. Opportunities that waited for you have left the building. But you still want the blessing as if you moved when God said move. Regret piles up like unpaid bills. Calls you never returned. Projects you never finished. Invitations you let expire. The longer you delay, the louder the doubts get. Suddenly, you don't feel sure about what God said. The habit of always waiting one more day is setting you back in the very season heaven called you forward. Now let me show you the fifth habit, spiritual numbing. This is deeper than distraction. This is when you reach for anything to take the edge off your pain. Binge watching, scrolling past midnight, comfort eating, compulsive shopping, substances hiding behind just to relax. Every time pain surfaces, instead of facing it in prayer, you medicate it with busyness or pleasure or denial. It's not just physical. Your spirit is numb, your worship mechanical, your prayers automatic, your Bible open but unread. When conviction knocks, you turn up the volume instead of answering the door. You've gotten used to feeling nothing because feeling just hurts too much, but here's the tragedy. What numbs pain also numbs promise. You wonder why breakthrough feels distant, why revelation is cloudy, why the fire is gone. It's because you can't discern when your heart is wrapped in numbness. Numbing is a habit, not just a symptom. Every time you avoid the hard thing, you stay locked in yesterday's pain. Right now, your next elevation depends on your willingness to face what you keep numbing. Sixth, let me break this one wide open, the habit of rehearsing old offenses. When you revisit the details of every wound, every betrayal, every time they lied, left, ignored, or disappointed you, you resurrect pain that God buried long ago. You replay old conversations like a broken record, making yourself the victim every time. You tell yourself it's to keep you safe, to make sure you never trust the wrong person again, but in reality, you're building a monument to your bitterness. Unforgiveness turns your heart into a prison, locking you up with the very memories that should have lost their power. You can't move forward carrying a grudge. The weight bends your spirit, slows your step, clouds every blessing with suspicion. Your elevation can't break through walls built on resentment. You keep inviting the past to eat at your present table, and then you wonder why there's never enough room for tomorrow's promise. Let me tell you right now, releasing offense isn't optional. It's oxygen for your next season. Finally, the seventh habit, the habit of limiting self-talk. This one's quiet but deadly. Right now, under your breath in your heart, you speak curses over yourself that nobody else needs to say. I'm just not qualified, maybe I missed it, I'm too old, I'm too late, I'm too broken. Every day your inner dialogue sets the ceiling for your future. Heaven can send every confirmation, every open door, every resource, but your own words cancel what God wants to deposit. Life and death are in your tongue, but your tongue is addicted to forecasting failure. Right now, the angels that war for you are contending against the atmosphere of hopelessness built by your own agreements. When God calls you chosen, you call yourself unworthy. When God calls you up, you talk yourself down. This habit is a gatekeeper. Break it, and everything else changes. And if you want to know where these habits dig their claws in deepest, let me take you to the middle of the night, 3 a.m., when the room is dead silent but your mind is screaming. You toss and turn, the sheets twisted, face lit by the glow of your phone as you scroll, just to numb, just to escape, just to see how everyone else is doing better. Your mouth is dry, Your heart pounds. You replay every mistake, every missed call, every text you never answered. You try breathing deep, counting backward, reading another verse, but nothing quiets the ache. You search your bank account at 3 in the morning, stare at the unpaid bills, the overdraft warning. You rehearse the argument with them, the family member, the friend, the betrayer. You hear their words like acid in your chest. You try to pray, but the words won't come. Your soul feels paralyzed, heavy, like someone laid a boulder across your chest. You pop half a sleep aid, sip lukewarm water, swipe through your notifications, grasping for anything to pull your mind out of the spiral. Morning comes, but relief doesn't. There's no rest, just the same anxieties wearing new faces. This is where the habits strangle the promise most. At 3 a.m., when you're most alone with yourself, most honest, most unfinished. This is where you realize it's not what others did, it's not what God forgot. It's not the devil having a field day, sometimes it's the habits you refuse to confront. But let me decree this over you right now. They wanted you held back, but heaven is calling you up. The isolation tried to smother your voice, but your shout is coming back. The compromise that poisoned your confidence is being traded for courage. Where you compared yourself and cursed your process, God is highlighting your uniqueness. All the delay is breaking as sudden obedience rises. The numbness is melting. Your fire returns right now. Every old offense is losing its grip. Forgiveness is flooding your heart. Your own tongue is being transformed. New declarations, new identities, new possibilities spoken right now. Every shackle, every habit, every ceiling, every setback, breaking right now, overnight, suddenly, as you choose freedom. All 7 habits exposed, all 7 doors unlocked. You are rising, you are seen, you are chosen, and nothing, no habit, no cycle, no delay, can block your elevation now. Chosen one, let me take you further now, because this is the turning point you scarcely believed would come. The habits that once bound your feet, the cycles that spun you in circles, the atmosphere that once felt suffocating. Right now, at this very moment, you are not who you were. There's a holy reversal working beneath the surface, a shifting you can't always see with natural eyes, but it is happening. The same walls that shut you out are cracking. The patterns that held your mind captive are losing their grip, thread by thread. No more turning around in frustration, wondering why the mountain won't move. No more spending yourself thin on people-pleasing, on empty apologies, on programs with no power. It's a reversal born in obscurity, in those long, stripped nights when it seemed no one was coming to rescue you, not even God. But this is the hour God leans in close and whispers, I've been building you in the breaking. I've been strengthening you in the silence. I've been rewriting your name in places your enemies can't even enter. Let me show you right now the tables turning, not with fanfare, not with lightning, but with the slow, relentless sunrise that no power in hell can reverse. Doors that slammed in your face are now the same doors you stepped through without needing to knock. The people who wrote you off, who rolled their eyes, who counted your name out, they are hearing about you in rooms you didn't even know existed. You become the subject of their conversations, their confusion, their wonder, their grudging respect. How? They ask. How did she get up? Who helped him? They bend themselves trying to explain away the divine intervention now marking your life. It's refinance instead of rejection, settlement instead of setback, green lights where once there was only red tape. Papers come through, appointments are moved up. Suddenly, the struggle is no longer where your story stops. Let me break it down for you. Those 7 habits, once your identity, are now becoming your testimony. The habit of isolation, that cave where you locked yourself away, is now the launchpad for revelation. You learned God's voice in the quiet places. Now you carry an intimacy they can't counterfeit. The compromise you once justified, it's extinguished in the clear light of day, replaced by a backbone that refuses to bend. Where you once mimicked, you now model. Authenticity is your capital, your integrity is your strategy. No more imitation, no more cheap shortcuts. And listen, the comparison that once made you shrink back is gone. Now the uniqueness that drew criticism draws curiosity and even admiration. You walk like someone who has seen the other side of envy and come back with wisdom in your stride. You don't shrink for anyone. Not now. Not after what you've survived. You were once famous for your delays, for letting fear talk you out of moving. But right here in this new season, you become known for radical obedience. Swift, stubborn, irrepressible. When God says move, you move. When the door swings open, you walk through. There's no second guessing, no counsel with indecision. You are no longer paralyzed at the threshold. You don't hesitate your way out of opportunity. Every numbing agent you once reached for, those old appetites, those diversions, they lose their flavor. You drink deeply of presence now, not distraction. You feel again, you worship with a wildness that can't be contained by embarrassment or self-preservation. The bitterness you rehearsed so long, every wound you cradled, every story you told yourself about who was to blame, it all dissolves in this flood of forgiveness. Your memory is cleansed. You are free not just from what they did, but from the obligation to carry it. It no longer owns you. And that small-voiced self-talk, those poison words, gone, replaced by declarations nobody else even knows you've been repeating in secret. I am called. I am strengthened. I am not forgotten. I am set apart for more. Let me tell you what's happening in the spirit right now. The things that used to define your struggle are becoming evidence of God's faithfulness. The very areas where you faltered are now the places of your commissioning. You pass through the fire, but you don't come out empty-handed. You come out with authority, with a message, with scars that testify but don't control you. Your story isn't just a warning to others, it's a blueprint for breakthrough. Listen, elevation is not just about being lifted up to be seen, it's about carrying others in your wake. The mantle you wear is heavy, yes, but it's lined with glory. Nobody can take it, nobody can fake it. You come out of hiding, not desperate for an audience, but with a confidence that draws the right people. Destiny helpers track you down. Intercessors sense your name in prayer. Divine alignments catch you off guard. An email from the executive, a message from the mentor, the grant or invitation that bypasses bureaucracy and lands unannounced on your doorstep. What blocked you before now makes way for you, as if heaven itself changed the rules just to demonstrate you are not subject to the old limitations. Where once conversations felt forced, now they flow. Where once provision stalled, now doors swing wide. There are meetings you don't even remember asking for, but God scheduled them anyway. Clients remember your name. Forgiveness softens hard faces. Unexpected checks hit your account not as a one-time miracle, but as a pattern, as a new rhythm of being provided for. And it's not just about what you gain. There's vindication in what no longer shakes you. That old anxiety that haunted you at 3 a.m. that made the sheets feel like shackles and the air impossible to breathe. It's not that the storms have all gone away, but you aren't tossed by them anymore. The tightness in your chest loosens, your breath comes easier. Thoughts that once spiraled now break apart at the first sign of hope. You don't scroll to numb. You scroll to celebrate, to connect, to resource others. You are alert to the needs of others because lack has lost its grip on you. The mornings you used to dread now hold anticipation instead of dread. You rise early, not as a badge of anxiety, but as a sign of expectation. This is reversal in real time. Now let me commission you, because elevation is not just for you. It's for every person watching, every voice counting you out, every onlooker questioning if God really moves in the shadows. You become a living rebuttal to small-mindedness and unbelief. The Lord gives you assignments that reach beyond your own problems. You are sent to places where your story is the key that unlocks their prison. You discern need in silent glances, in heavy sighs, in the eyes of the discouraged. Your words carry deliverance, because you have wrestled with the habits that tried to kill your hope, and you won. When you pray for others, it isn't empty. It's loaded with conviction, with experience, with the impartation of one who survived isolation, compromise, comparison, delay, numbing, offense, and self-doubt. Your worship breaks, the atmosphere open. Your prayers are infused with fire. Heaven trusts you with the heartaches of others because you know how to steward pain into wisdom, brokenness into beauty. Let me make this plain. Your elevation is a verdict. Every lie that said you were too far gone now becomes a liability for your doubters, for the enemy, for every false accuser. They see the fruit, they can't deny the change, and it rattles their own unbelief. You become one who can break atmospheres, set rooms on fire with expectancy, open the heavens with a shout, silence the enemy with your laughter. You are marked for multiplied impact because you chose surrender over stubbornness. Chosen one, the reversal is not the end. It is the beginning of your commission, your new assignment. No more auditioning for acceptance in spaces that do not know your worth. Doors are now assigned to seek you out. Favor overtakes you. Destiny accelerates. What should have taken years will happen overnight. Old cycles close with exclamation marks, not question marks. You are not your habits. You are heaven's answer to someone else's question. So let me decree this for you with every breath I have left. Every reversal has become your momentum. Every private hurt fuels your public healing ministry. Every closed door breeds urgency for new opportunities. Every rejected application is proof that something greater hunted you down. The things that haunted your 3 a.m. nightmare now fuel your 3 a.m. prayer filled with hope, authority, and prophecy. They tried to cripple you with shame, but you rise with stories that set others free. They said you'd disappear, but you became unavoidable. They wanted the old you immobilized by fear, but you walk in radical faith. They demanded you bow to discouragement, but you stand, shoulders back, eyes clear, armored in joy that nobody can steal. Delay melted in the heat of devotion, doubt shattered on the solid rock of new confidence. Doors wide open, solutions chasing you down, testimonies in your wake. Commissioned and consecrated, armed with scars that now shine, carrying favor that multiplies, harvesting what you did not plant. Elevation copies your name into new records overnight. The 7 habits replaced by 7 standards, 7 wells of refreshing, 7 arms of strength, 7 times the grace, 7-fold reward. And everything that thought it could silence you is stunned by the sound of your rising, right now, overnight, without apology, without delay. Let vindication speak, let destiny roar, let your new season be more than survival. Let it be a spectacle of God's unstoppable commitment to elevate the chosen, with your name written in bold across the story. Listen to me, chosen one, because heaven is not finished speaking vindication over your life. You have come through the meat grinder of delay, loss, and private battles, through nights where nobody knew you were holding on by a whisper. They saw your posts, your polite nods, but they never saw the silent negotiations you made with God, the deals you brokered in the dark just to believe one more day. Right now, something is moving in your life that will not be denied. This is the hour of visible recompense, not just for you, but as a declaration to every witness, seen and unseen. Let me tell you exactly what vindication really looks like for a chosen one. It will not resemble revenge. It will not look like the forced humility of those who wronged you. No, it will be a set table spread in the open. God pulls out the chair, calls your name, and while those who discounted you look on, you are fed with bread they never thought would reach your hands. You'll sit boldly where you once begged to be acknowledged. The same voices that lied about you, that cut you down with laughter and sideways glances, they will find themselves unable to escape your overflow. Some will try to make light of it, others will say, "I always knew." But your song is different now. This is not about proving them wrong. This is about God making it plain that no mud thrown by people can leave a permanent stain on His anointed. Let me bring this home to you right now. Vindication shows up in your finances in ways you could not orchestrate. There was a season you wondered if even God forgot your bank account. Paydays vanished, invoices bounced, deals evaporated. You stretched a single grocery bill over 2 weeks and prayed the lights wouldn't cut out. But listen, God is not mocked. He kept the books when you tithed in tears. He remembered when you sowed the last of what you had. Right now, your zero is becoming surplus, unexplainable credits hitting your account, debts dissolved, applications stamped approved from desks you never expected. This is more than money. It's the restoration of peace, of options, of the right to breathe without calculating what you have left. You who once felt unworthy of overflow, you who apologized for needing help, you who clipped coupons and lived off spare change. Watch now as the God who sees in secret rewards you openly, suddenly, publicly. No one can claim they did you a favor. Heaven signs the check. Heaven forwards the confirmation. Heaven makes it evidence. Vindication also visits your relationships, not just the friend list, but the core of belonging, trust, and divine connection. You were the faithful one. You prayed for others while your messages went unanswered. You checked on those who never checked for you. Every time you hoped for a call, a visit, a gesture that would make you feel seen, it seemed to bounce back as silence. Some even twisted your loyalty, made it a punchline, took without gratitude. I need you to see right now what's happening in the spirit. God is closing chapters you kept rereading. He is lifting faces to see your heart that were stubborn in ignoring your worth. Unexpected restoration happens, not always through apologies, sometimes through brand new connections that honor your authenticity. Covenant friends arrive, loyal confidants who show up without managing your image, people who love you through the mess, who discern the gold in the dirt and refuse to let you sink into despair. Some reconnections will surprise you. A text from the past, forgiveness on both sides, relationships healing in ways you stopped praying for. The lack of support you endured is replaced by a tribe that won't let you retreat. You get to be celebrated, not just tolerated. Your circle tightens, but your roots go deep. Now let me tell you about the vindication heaven brings in your reputation. There were years when you felt marked by misunderstanding. They gossiped, they whispered, they drew conclusions out of smoke and called it truth. The false stories stuck. The rumors bent your spine. You tried to rise, tried to clarify, but the damage seemed permanent. But now, vindication isn't about your words, it's your results, your fruit. Testimonies outweigh old lies. Projects succeed against every odd. Invitations come that bypass the committees stacked against you. The very people who doubted you become your endorsers. Favor rewrites the narrative. You don't need to defend yourself, your peace does the talking. Where you were once erased, you are honored. Where you were canceled, you become essential. Unsolicited recommendations. Your name coming up for good without you ever knowing who planted the seed. Your no is respected, your yes carries weight. Suddenly, those who shut you out have to shout over each other just to explain why they missed what God was doing in you. God prepares a platform, and your presence upon it is a verdict. He approves. But hear me, chosen one, vindication is not the goal. It's what God puts in your hands so you can fulfill a commission bigger than your grudges, bigger than your comeback story, bigger than the small victories of being proven right. He is sending you as an answer. You walk into boardrooms, classrooms, ministries, and living rooms not simply as a survivor, but as an agent of transformation. Everywhere your foot treads, clarity comes, confusion breaks. Cycles snap. You bring hope where resignation held sway. Your words carry creative force, not just good advice. You become the deliverer for those held captive by habits you once wrestled to the ground yourself. You set tables for others not out of obligation, but out of an overflow that will not let you keep the blessing to yourself. In your new commission, you function with accuracy and compassion. You discern schemes before they take root. You carry healing in your prayers, miracles that follow you for no other reason than God wants the world to know what He does with yielded vessels. You stand in authority where you once only stood in survival. Your hands heal. Your counsel delivers. Your presence calms storms, both visible and invisible. Doors open before you because you have shown yourself trustworthy in obscurity. You are called to release others from the margin, to call out value buried in shame, to put language to silent pain that nobody else could name. And you do it, not with arrogance, but with the humility born in the lonely fields. You never boast, but people feel rich in your presence. Let me tell you plainly, the mark of this commission is not the applause, but the harvest. You pour out without fear of running out. You encourage others past the place you once stalled. You co-sign breakthroughs even when nobody's looking. Your measure is joy, not comparison. The blessings multiply because you do not hoard. You teach those coming behind you where the snares are, how to spot deadly habits at their root, how to stop cycles before they swallow destinies whole. You expose darkness with the light that once terrified you. The enemy sees you coming now and flees because you don't speak empty words. You speak with backing. You mentor, you nurture, you become a resting place for those who thought God rejected them. So let me wrap this with the decree heaven has been writing over your life since before your story started. Every reversal now feeds your authority. Vindication is your shield, not your idol. Your commission is sealed by evidence, not empty words. Everything working against you is now working for you. The oil runs down from your head to your household, to your destiny helpers, to the generations coming after you. God lifts you up, not to dominate but to serve, not to gloat but to host, not to brag but to build. They wanted you chained, but heaven handed you keys. They tried to shame you into hiding, but you shine brighter now than ever before. They bet on your exit, but you became the entry point for others' freedom. They wrote you off, but God rewrote your ending. They tried to silence your song, but God put a new one in your mouth. They expected you to fail quietly, but every area of death in your life is rising with noise, glory, and power. What blocked you is now behind you. What hindered you now testifies of God's might. Every hour spent in obscurity is multiplied in reward. Every seed sown in weeping returns as a sudden public harvest. You move forward crowned, equipped, and sent, chosen, proven, and commissioned. Your hands never empty, your story never wasted, your future never denied. It happens suddenly, overnight, in full view, forever. Chosen one, let me show you God does not just reverse the script. He rewrites the story in such a way that even you scarcely recognize yourself as the chapters turn. You look up stunned because trauma loses its voice and destiny drowns out the memory of disappointment. Where bitterness used to have the final word in your midnight meditations, now there's a new refrain swelling inside you, a confidence not born of pride, but of being carried through every fire without burning, of surviving every shipwreck and finding treasure where you least expected. This reversal isn't timid, isn't hidden. It is real, irrevocable, public. It unravels every verdict the world tried to stamp on your name. The hardest season you ever endured, God makes it the seedbed of your next 30 harvests, multiplying instead of subtracting, adding color where your world was fading to gray. Let me tell you about the surprise of your own new self. People will come whispering, confused by the boldness in your step, the clarity in your eyes. Some will ask, "Is this really the same person we knew?" Yes and no. You are still you, the scars bear witness, but you've been recoded in the forge of affliction and patience. Those who left you in weakness now see you robed in power. You meet their eyes without shrinking, without rehearsing old grievances. You smile, and it's not the old performance, but the smile of the freed, light, unconcerned by what they think, rich in assurance that only God's opinion counts now. This is vindication so complete that your mind no longer even replays who doubted you. You are too busy moving forward, too occupied by new demands, new open doors, new assignments calling out gifts you never even knew were in you. It goes further. Vindication becomes multiplication. God doesn't just restore what was lost, He increases it. For every year you felt stolen, He deposits double. The energy you used to spend lamenting old seasons gets redirected into building, mentoring, launching, releasing. You are not just catching up, you're leapfrogging entire stages others said were necessary. You bypass bureaucracy, leap past gatekeepers, see regulations rewritten on your behalf. Approvals that would have taken years now find you in months, even in weeks. God shortens the distance from promise to possession, so when others gawk at your sudden elevation, it's not hype, it's harvest. Projects you thought would linger in unfinished drafts are now completed, released, celebrated. Your name appears in places you never campaigned for. Your work is referenced in circles you never entered. Suddenly, overnight, astonishing even to you. Let me speak directly to your heart, especially in the quiet, secret places where old fear tries to return. You worry that this blessing could be snatched away, that vindication is temporary, that elevation is fragile. But hear me, what heaven authorized, no man can reverse. God is not dangling hope like a carrot, not baiting you with temporary mercy only to snatch it back. This favor is not leasehold. It's a deed, signed with blood and sealed by scars. You don't wake up anxious that it will be gone tomorrow. You wake with new boldness every morning because the foundation is not your performance but His faithfulness. The grace bringing you through is not up for negotiation or popular vote. Not 1 inch of territory gained will be lost. Not one blessing will evaporate in the sun of jealousy or opposition. You are not living on borrowed time, but stepping into appointed, anointed time. This is your new normal. Let's press in. As you are lifted, your commission is not just to savor the change, but to take territory for others. You are a barrier breaker. Every day you walk in rooms as permission for others to believe they're not disqualified either. Your testimony is not anecdote, it's proof. You start to sense pain even in the silence of others, and you have no patience for watching them shrink back like you once did. You call people out of their caves. You interrupt their excuses. You lay hands on dormant dreams and speak resurrection. The lessons you learned in hiding, you don't keep them to yourself. You hand out keys in conversations, sometimes without planning to, because out of your mouth come words that slice through despair and delay. The appointments you accept are more than meetings. They are rescue operations. When you show up, you shift environments. Despair flees. Hope rises, laughter returns to faces that forgot it was possible. Let me show you something. Your voice carries new weight now. It's not the old bravado, not the overcompensation of old wounds. It is God's authority braided through every word and every silence. When you pray, you know the line to heaven is clear. No more praying from a place of panic, but from partnership. Answers come quickly now, not because you've mastered religious language, but because you've been refined by honest wrestling and obedience. Miracles are not a rumor, but a rhythm, a normal feature of your surrendered life. Problems that once stumped you start to unravel while you rest. Your discernment is sharper than ever. Red flags that used to confuse you now stand out bright and unmissable. You do not apologize for seeing trouble coming, for setting boundaries, for protecting the glory resting upon you. And what about the commission to serve, to stand as an intercessor for nations, families, communities? It's not a burden. It flows out of the endless overflow. You find yourself moved to intervene for people you don't even know by name, praying breakthrough and open doors, loosing captives with declarations in the night watch when everyone else sleeps. The enemy storms your mind with accusations, but you recognize the pattern and laugh, because no accusation can stick where the blood has already spoken. You advocate for people who still doubt their right to hope. You travel places, sometimes physically, sometimes only in spirit, where generational curses have reigned for decades, and you break them because your authority has been authenticated in the wilderness. You are invited not just to speak, but to lay foundations, to set precedent, to open doors and leave them propped wide for waves of others behind you. You leave rooms changed in your wake. Let me tell you, it isn't only visible blessings. The greatest vindication comes in peace. Real, bone-deep, rib-cage-wide peace that endures under pressure. You sleep through storms that once would have cost you a month of sanity. You answer the phone without dread. You check your emails without bracing for bad news. Bad reports come, but they don't take root. The old tormentor that tracked your nights, those spirals of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, is now replaced by a calm that confuses even those closest to you. You listen to bad news, and your first response is intercession, not panic. You don't run from conflict. You know peace is your weapon. You move gracefully, guided by a voice that does not stutter. So let me pronounce this final decree over your journey. Every reversal is now irreversible. Every humiliation now crowns your head with wisdom. Every ghost of failure is silenced by the soundtrack of unstoppable favor. You are not sustained by headlines or applause, but by a steady hand that does not drop what it lifts. Your feet are steady on platforms once denied to you. You trade survival for dominion, confusion for revelation, striving for supernatural acceleration. People will ask how you did it, but your only answer is, "The Lord did it, and it is marvelous in our eyes." They built fences, but you inherited the fields. They marked your file unqualified, but you got called ahead of the line. They hid opportunities, but heaven carved out a seat with your name etched stone deep. They buried you with rumor, but up from the soil you grew taller, louder, rooted for generations. They bet on your silence, but you thundered praise. They sent storms, but you built arcs. They predicted obscurity, but your influence opened cities. They waited for your collapse, but you only multiplied. They trafficked in delay, but you arise ahead of schedule. You are not in transition, you are in demonstration. You are the evidence. You are the living prophecy. Over you there is no expiration date, only compounded interest. Everything lost is repaid in public. Everything broken is outshined by what is built. Every setback is steamrolled by wave after wave of favor. Every rejection is seed for harvest. The 7 habits that tried to halt you are dust under your feet, and everything meant for harm is converted to fuel for your kingdom assignment. So go, chosen one. Rise, walk, build. Wield your testimony without apology. Grow gardens where you were given wilderness. Name the next location Rehoboth. For the Lord has made space for you. There will be no going back, no shrinking, no apology for being chosen. Right now, overnight, and for generations, it is settled. It is yours. It is done.